Alright. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for volunteering your time. We had 26 unique volunteers sign up for this. So I don't know what the norm is because I'm new here, but that felt really good to me that we had so many different people willing to sign up and help out. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is Karen. She is not the director, but you're like her right hand girl, right? Okay. I actually met Karen last year at the YMCA food site. Guys, this is just a really amazing program that I hope we're able to reach a lot of kids in this area this year. Last year they were only in Shalhoub at Camp Methodist. This year we will have the location here, so we're able to reach two different ends of the county, which I think is going to be really beneficial to students and to families. So Karen, I will let you, oh wait, Pat is recording, FYI. That's Pat, he's recording because several people weren't able to make it today to the training, and so we have to have them complete the training at a later date. But before we start distribution on May 30th. So, all right.
All right, everybody, so this is our, the program's called Non-Congregate SFSP Training for rural non-congregate food feeding and vendor type training for this location. What is non-congregate SFSP meal service? SFSP stands for Summer Food Service Program, and non-congregate means where kids do not have to stay on site to be able to have a meal, so they can just take it and go. SFSP is funded by the USDA, which is the United States Department of Agriculture, and all the rules and regulations are federal USDA requirements. They're not YMCA requirements, so it's why we have to enforce their rules. And I wish we could do things a little bit differently, but this is what we have to work with. SFSP is locally administrated by the NC Department of Public Instruction, which is DPI, if you guys have ever heard of it. Okay, so the difference between congregate and non-congregate meal service is that congregate meal sites are eligible locations where they have an enrichment activity on site, and then the kids also have to eat on site. They're allowed to serve 2 meals per day, and this can be an enrolled site, closed enrolled site, open site, and a camp location. So the YMCA does have a couple locations that are like that, but those are for our like summer camp program. So for that, our summer camp programs meet that requirement, so our campers are able to eat on site because they get an enrichment activity. So our non-congregate SFSP meal sites are generally open sites where the community can just grab and go, pick up their box, and then head on their way. They don't have to stay on site, but if they do, it's okay, like we don't mind. For these, we are able to give up 2 meals per day, and we're also able to do a multi-day meal. So with us, we have the 7-day boxes where we have 2 meals for breakfast and lunch, so we have 7 days of that, which is really awesome because that way we're able to feed them a lot more for the entire week. So the YMCA will be doing 8 locations throughout 3 different counties. We'll be in Sampson, Pender, and Brunswick. And we just got fully approved for all of that. The children aren't required to stay on site to eat the meals or anything. They're just able to pick up and go, stay with parents. And there's no enrichment activity required, but we will try to provide them some activity sheets and nutritional information and stuff like that if time permits with all of the sites that we have. For our site setup procedures, we will have banners and yard signs that if it's okay with you guys, we want to be able to put them out there so when people are driving by, they're able to see like where the location is going to be and like the times. Our yard signs will have the times, the day, and then the name of the location. We'll also have a banner that has that information as well. It's a little bit more general, but people will probably get the idea. We'll also be trying to determine where on the church's location would be the best way to serve, so, we'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah, I think I already talked to Amy, and we were talking about doing it, we have that nice awning.
Yes.
And remember last year with the tent, and it would be windy, and your tent would like try to blow away, they had like one of those pop-up tents, and as you know guys, it's so windy here, I'm still not used to that, in my 2 years. So we have the awning, which I think is perfect, because then you just have to set up your table.
Yeah, so, I know it says, set up a tent, but we still might have it, we might not, it just might depend on the day. We'll also have a table, a tablecloth, an A-frame that also has most of our information. We'll also have our camps roster, which will be on a Google document that me or Anna will be able to administer, so you guys won't have to worry about that. We'll also have meal count sheets, and we also have to have an Injustice for All poster posted, just so it's visible to all the participants. And then the staff and volunteers will be wearing this penny right here. So we'll give you guys one and for the day, and then once you guys are done, we'll take them back and we'll wash them, so you guys don't have to worry about that. Yeah. So, do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, so our non-congregate meal site procedures, registration, and duplication prevention. So we will have parents and guardians register their kids using either a QR code, or we do also have the physical copy of our registration forms. This is just for us to be able to take in some information that is required by the USDA. They want some information about race and ethnicity, and just like how old the kids are, just as they can have some like data. This will help us also keep track of the amount of kids that we might be projected to have each week. And then this also ensures that we don't have duplication throughout the week. But this will help us have a faster check-in process, so then that way, once we move along, it'll be a little bit quicker each week. So we'll also use this to cross-reference camp rosters, because our day campers will be getting a meal, so they're not eligible for this program. And then we'll also make sure that they don't go to a different location, so that all of our locations on Friday will be all in Brunswick County, so we have to make sure that they don't go to a different location and double dip. So that's why we have to kind of keep records of that. So we'll mark the child on the Google document as they receive the box, so then that way we can see if anybody's gone to a different site. We'll have to tell them, hey, you guys have already gone to this site, we can't give you another box. But me or Anna will be looking through this Google document, so you guys won't have to worry about that. Once we are actually giving out the boxes, we have a procedure where it's the point of service. Once you give a box out to the person, you're gonna cross off. I'll hand you guys some sheets. So, if you guys wanna pass these down, for each kid, you'll just cross out one number, and it'll just be like that for each kid. The form itself was given to us by the state. We did create one, but they ended up denying that one, so we were just okay, we just kind of have to use the one that they give us. And we'll fill out the top portion, and you guys will only have to deal with the numbers part where it's in these boxes, as you'll see. We'll just cross off as the kids come in, and you give out the box, but only after you've given out the box.
So you can see what the form looks like.
We will be giving out instructions with each meal box. We'll have those prepared for you guys, because each week we'll have an alternating schedule. We'll have a premium box, and then we'll have kind of like a regular box that has some different things, but we'll make sure that you guys have the correct menus for each week. We also will be giving out enhancement bags with each meal box. We were able to give these out last year with fresh fruit and produce. We're still trying to hear back from the state to see if that's still allowable. But if not, we'll also be bringing anything that gets donated to us. We'll have these cards, so if anybody has a need or anything like that, they can feel free to reach in and grab anything that mom and dad might need. So hopefully we get approved for fresh fruit and veggies, so that way the moms and dads and grandparents and everybody can maybe like make a little something on the side along with the meals that we're giving them.
It was
So
my
it's
kids
children
that you're
coming
good to
to
go. That's kind of, I said the same thing to my neighbors.
The
I
children
believe
can,
Amy told me that she was gonna be able to get us a bulletin insert that would go into our church bulletins, maybe for like the Sunday before this launches, so that everybody in the congregation can have a physical copy to hand to somebody you know. And if you don't know somebody, like, go to the grocery store and hand it to the girl checking out your groceries or whoever, you know? So everyone should have at least one physical copy. And I was gonna ask Amy some about doing stuff for my kids' preschool, because it's like a private preschool, so they wouldn't be part of the Brunswick County schools. But circulates a lot on social media.
If we could get some for if it's a congregation of churches that meet once a month in the Southport Oak Island area, so that would be a good place to, and the digital copy would be the best,
Yeah.
because they can send it out to all the members and they can promote it within their churches,
Yeah.
which is a really good place to.
I think it's a great idea. I'll write that down. Just talk to Amy.
Have you heard of 211?
no,
Okay, 211, like just, 211's a 3-digit dialing code that you can call anytime to get health and human service information and referral. So if you have registered with them, it's free. And if people are calling from any of the sites, counties that you're serving, if someone's looking for food for their children for the summer, that you know, your listing would come up and they can refer them to them with the information, like we're at Southport Presbyterian Church on Fridays, blah, 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 and the time period and such.
oh, okay,
So 211 and 211.org, or nc211.org will, you know, get you some information.
Linda, do you know anybody who actually participated in the development of 211?
Well, that would be me.
That's really cool. I've never heard that.
I know, because there's no money to publicize it. It's, except for like, United Ways and local fundraising and some state contracts, there is no one federal funding stream that supports it.
Well, I'm gonna send it to Amy and she's gonna.
211.org, or, yeah, it's online as well as on the phone. But when you're starting to look for any kind of services, it's free and it points you in the right direction.
okay, that's really good idea.
Great idea.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, so we'll
Does
get
the
those
office
digital
have that?
copies of the flyers, but we will be, giving out flyers to kids. I
Volunteers show a lot of
need to double
calls.
check with her, but I think we'll be giving them out to a lot of schools here. We just, Amy does the ordering and stuff, so we just got approval for that. And also we have to ask, the school systems to make sure that they're okay with us giving out promotional materials.
So I work for communities and schools,
Okay,
and we have, success coaches staff in 11 of the schools here in Brunswick County. So if I can have that electronically, I can get that to my staff, because they work with all the children that are in, possible of dropout.
gotcha.
Great.
So they know a lot of those students that need help and assistance.
The group of churches that Julia mentioned also runs our food pantry in BSL. And if they know about that would be something we could promote there.
Yeah.
Those cards would be great sitting out
Yeah.
for them to take when they go through, or handed, the volunteers could hand them one as they shop.
You have a lot of people that wanna help a lot.
No, that's, I'm so glad that you guys are very like engaged with this and like getting out the word. That's really good. Last year we were not able to promote just because we got approved like very last minute, like a week before we even like before our first date, so we didn't have that much time to like promote. And then we didn't anticipate the amount of boxes we'd be giving out, so our supply kind of like was gone within the first week, and we had to order, like, it was probably the first day we were like going through like 2 or 3 pallets, and we were just like, oh wow, we need to give food ASAP. So we didn't want to promote it and then like people come and we didn't have enough supply for people. But this time we are prepared and we are ready to promote and market this.
They have a whole, if you watch the video, they have a whole new big distribution center, right? Is
Yeah,
that where
we
you're
have a-
storing the food and stuff?
Yeah, it's our warehouse, so we're able to store things and, we just have way more space than like, we used to have an office space that we would get truck deliveries and it would get delivered to our parking lot, and then from our parking lot, we would take each individual box and we'd put it inside of our, office space, so that took a while.
I have a question about the process. It says parents come in and you immediately ask them, are you registered? And if they aren't, they've got to register, and if they are, you check them off. But then the next thing, it says cross-reference camp rosters to see if they've been to other locations. Is there something we look up or have that we?
Yeah, I'll be doing that part,
You'll
so,
be doing that,
yeah, so
right.
you guys don't have to worry about
Okay.
that. But, yeah, that's just so we don't have to double dipping part. But yeah, you
Aaron,
guys won't have to worry about that.
Where you can just smile.
We'll have that, but if you guys, we ever want to teach you or anything, we'll be happy to do so.
Aaron, if you set up, the discussion was to set up on the rocker porch here, cause it has an overhang, in case it rains or it's hot. There's Wi-Fi there, so, you know, if you have to get to your Google Docs, you can go into the same Wi-Fi you have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so mealtime service requirements. Each site has a preset meal service time, so each site has like a predetermined time from this time to this time. So meals may not be served prior to the start time chosen, and they cannot be served after the end time. If your meal starts, let's say at 10 and it goes to 11 a.m., you cannot serve before 10 a.m. and you must stop serving at 11 a.m. If you still have people in line, we're kind of treating it as like voting, so if you're still in line and hits 11, anybody who's in line by 11 will get their box. It's just people who show up after we won't be able to.
But we're 10:30 to 11:30.
Yeah, so, since you guys are 10:30 to 11:30, we cannot start serving meals before 10:30, but we can get people pre-registered or anything like that. So if people are already here, we can have them fill out the form either online or on paper, just so we get that squared away, and then by the time it hits 10:30, we're ready to go and be able to give them their boxes.
How long does it take to register them? I mean,
It
since
takes,
we only have an hour, if you've got 100 people.
yeah, the first week was a little bit hectic just because of that, but, we are asking people to pre-register. That's why we're giving out, the flyers which have the QR code, and also our website, it'll lead you to the same place.
If I remember correctly, the form was super easy. It was just put your name, it was race, ethnicity, and then it was your children's ages. I don't even think they asked for the names, and then.
It will ask for the name,
Okay.
but it's just for our records, but nobody's really gonna check it or
She
anything.
never got that pretty good. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it took me less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I did it on my phone.
Because I know the government likes phones.
They do.
But it should not take that long. Also, the paper ones is front and back. It just depends on how many kids you have. So it'll be name, age, race, ethnicity, and what type of milk. Sometimes, we'll see, if we can substitute sometimes milk if you're lactose intolerant, and then soy or lactose-free options. So that's what we're checking for. And just the number of kids that you have. That way, once we already know who you are, we can just say, hey, to the next person, they need 4 boxes, or they need 3 boxes, or 5.
And does the form ask anything about citizenship?
Yeah, anybody can come. If they come after 11:30, we can direct them to a different site because we will have 3 sites that day. Brunswick County Family Assistance, they will have one, but that one's before, I think that one starts around 9 or 9:30, and that one goes to 12. And then we'll have one in Shiloh that will be at a later time. So if they don't make it to this one on time, and they want to make it to a different site, they can possibly go to Shiloh if they wanna make the drive out there.
On
Friday.
Yes, yes, we'll be in Brunswick County at 3 sites on Friday, so we'll be everywhere. So our food delivery, this is our food van, each meal, distribution day at the YMCA, our food van will bring all of our meal boxes. You guys will have the 50 supply on site in case anything happens. It'll have our 7-day boxes, it will have our enhancement bags with the fresh produce and hopefully fresh produce, and our meal count sheets, the signage, like the banners and the yard signs and everything like that. We'll also be bringing the iPads for the registrations that might be needed and anything else that we might need that day. We'll also have neck fans for people if you guys get hot or anything, but if you guys also wanna come in.
Yeah, what?
Neck
Neck
fans.
I have a question. If we were to get someone to walk into the church during the week that really needs help and needs food,
Good question.
can a box be given to them for the children? I don't know that we have that many, but I know that we have had some walk-ins that they
Have to
need
look
help.
at the
Yeah.
timeframe that they
Yeah.
allow.
I'm gonna say no for just the way that the program runs.
Okay.
I wish we could, but just since it's not the Y, rules, it's the USDA rules, we have to like kind of like abide by them, which,
Everybody loves the white tape.
yeah, I wish this was like, it is a little constraining just only being able to do it one day, but we will be, at different, counties on different days. So Tuesday and Wednesday will be, one day we'll be in Pender County and one day we'll be in Sampson County, but, if we had the ability to do more days, that'd be nice, but since it's 7 days, time limit, we can't do this location more than once a week.
So how many locations will you be in Brunswick County on Fridays?
3,
3. Shallow.
Brunswick Family Systems, and then here, the one in Bolivia.
If they find that we have a lot of people coming and the hour is not cutting it, can they extend that, or will they be able to adjust that, or?
I don't believe they will be able to adjust that, but if they are in line,
So they just have to get here
they have to get
by
here by 11:30.
o'clock or 11:30, right? No matter what.
No matter
It's
what,
just
no
that
matter
hour.
how many people we may have in line at 11:30, we will be able to serve all of them.
Okay.
Are we allowed to direct them to the food pantry?
If they.
I mean, it's during your time, I mean, we're volunteering for you, but if the situation is such that it doesn't look like they're gonna meet their needs here, can we just tell them there's a food pantry in BSL?
Yeah, if
It's
you-
not against the rules.
You're just not allowed to direct them to the public schools for hot
Yeah.
breakfast and lunch.
Yeah. Alright, and then, how to take meal counts, as you guys have seen the sheet, I hope so. You guys won't have to worry about this section right here, we will fill all of this out. So, the only thing you have to worry about is just, with each box that you hand out, you just mark it through from corner to corner. And that's all you guys have to do for that.
Is this sheet per child?
No,
That's for the whole site?
yeah. Yeah,
So
so
something
if
about
you
the
have-
child's name must be written, but.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, we're trying to talk to state about what they need for that, but for now, that is what we've been instructed to do, so just mark through for one box for each kid.
On the sheet, you've got up to 160 meals, is that kind of just a guesstimate, or is that, I didn't.
We'll have more than one sheet, so if, we need another one, we can start another sheet.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, on the back, it's 280.
So if we need another sheet, we'll use another sheet, but if.
I hope it's not successful.
Yeah.
So we will worry about the top part, so that you guys don't have to worry about it.
We're just counting.
Yeah, they gave us this
Okay.
sheet
Okay.
last week, and after they denied the one that we made, so, we still had some questions before we even did the training.
think this leads itself to a good point, which is some people ask me like, I don't know if I can like lift the boxes or whatever it is, cause like she said, I estimated 10 pounds, but she's saying 20, that's
Yeah, it was
probably
about-
more like it. So if you're not able to lift the boxes, then like I said, I will be here, I will lift the boxes, and you can do the marking. You can just do the marking at the table, or it can just be a smiling face, you know, so.
Would it help if we brought our own dollies, hand trucks?
She has wagons.
We'll be able to run at the wagons.
You have plenty?
for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, so meal compliance and distribution. All 17 meal box components for both breakfast and lunch will be packaged inside one box with, including the milk. All the components of the meals will be contained in cellophane bags with each day's lunch and also breakfast. Breakfast components will be loose, so it might be like a cereal or like a breakfast bar, so those will not be inside of the cellophane bags, but it will be inside of the box, in case, any of the parents ask. The milk will be in quarts and there will be instructions on how to serve the milk. It will be 8 ounces of milk with each meal. A menu will be provided in each enhancement bag that we give out, with each box to explain what they're going to be eating on a daily basis. Remember to encourage them to open their box when they get home and put the milk in the refrigerator so that they can serve it cold. It is shelf stable, so it can stay out wherever, but it does taste better if it's colder, so if you guys wanted, if you guys would just let them know that, that would be great.
They did little boxes of milk last year too, like, I don't know if you go into Starbucks and you see like the little milk juice boxes almost, that's essentially what it is, and they have like these little chocolate milk juice box type things.
Yeah, Walmart carries them.
And my kids loved those, like, but yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't let them drink it warm.
Unless they like warm milk, I know, sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's nice. But, each child, 18 and younger, can receive one box that contains all they need for 7 days. Only one box per kid per week. Remind them that they are not able to participate in any other SFSP program during those days. Now, if they choose to, there's no way to enforce it, we won't know if they go anywhere else. The only way that we can enforce it is through our summer camp program, so if they are going to any of those, we will not be able to give them a box.
Okay, so they come, get a box 1 week, and they can or can't come back the next week?
They can, they
Oh, okay.
can, it's the same day every week, so they can come back.
They can come back subsequent weeks?
May
Yeah,
30th
they
through
just
August
can't.
22nd, every Friday.
Every Friday, okay.
The thing that they can't do is go to like a school site where they're serving breakfast. We won't be able to do that. Yeah. They can
And
only,
they can't go to New Hanover County.
we won't have any there, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
If for some reason they were in that area and they wanted to, I don't think they would be able to, just because it would be like, kinda like a double dipping of maybe like a couple days.
So what other counties are you doing this?
Pender and Sampson,
And what days are those?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
So Brunswick County, do we have any white camps going on?
Yeah,
We do?
Leland and Ocean Isle Beach.
Where? Ocean Isle and,
Leland is my understanding.
I think so. There's, I think, 2 to 3 locations here. I know there's gonna be one at the barn.
At Rock Creek, that's in Leland, and then there's one at Ocean Isle. It's a church.
Yeah, there's one that's like a new site,
I looked into it for Dakota. I didn't do it.
so those kids would not be able to.
But they'll be at camp.
Yeah, so they will get served at camp. They'll get meals at camp.
so they don't get a box, correct?
No, they do not.
They do not, yeah, thank you.
How many years have you all been doing this?
Last year was our first year. Yeah, it was the first time that, the Lions been able to do something like this. I was actually the intern that worked with Noken Hungry and Carolina Hunger Initiative to be able to like partner up with the YMCA to be able to do this. This is really awesome. Each child will also So we're trying to see what all we can be allowed to use, but we're trying to get that figured out within the next couple weeks.
Last year was like carrots, celery. My kids have never ate a radish because I'm just not buying radishes on the regular at the store, but they got to try a radish.
We tried different like fruits like apples,
Oranges.
oranges. We had cherry plums. They were like a new thing. They were like little thingies that were like pretty good. We also did plums. I think we did pears at some point. We also threw in, I think, avocados at one point, onions, carrots, celery, cucumbers, zucchini. We tried to like mix it up like every week to have like a variety of things. We are trying to get approval for that just because the states can be a little weird about that, so we're hoping that they will allow us to do that again for this year. So, we're going to Chick-fil-A 'em. We want to show people that come and receive our food boxes, we want to treat them with respect, dignity, and kindness. We are representing the Y along with other organizations partnered with us and that are helping us enable this program. We don't know the needs of each family, but we do want to do our best to meet as many needs as possible. We want them to leave having enjoyed their experience and not having to feel any like shame or embarrassment, because I know that is like a common stigma sometimes when trying to receive help or come and put yourself out there to receive something that at the time you might not feel the greatest about coming and having to do, but we want to make sure that we provide a good experience for them, no judgment, so depending on whatever their situation may be, just be kind and show them dignity and respect and everything will be okay. We do want to make this experience as enjoyable as going through Chick-fil-A drive-through. You know how they're always like, my pleasure, what do you need? They're always very like of service, so we just want to be the same way and just provide a good experience for them. Okay, that's the end of that one. Now I have to train you guys on civil rights training. Do you guys have any questions about that?
Do you guys have like a website or something that we could, for on Facebook, that we could share like to different groups? Cause like you said, media is how this gets out more so than anything.
Yes, I can give you guys, our like website, URL. And then I'll also, I'll give you guys our like website URL so you guys can like share that with other people. Okay, so civil rights, we have to make sure that this is, done for all of anybody who's gonna be, working or volunteering with us. So our SFSP frontline staff must abide by civil rights statutes, regulations, and policies. We will be serving meals to all children regardless of race, color, national origin, sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, age, and disability. Discrimination is the act of distinguishing one group or one person or group of persons from others. This is our Injustice for All poster. This is what needs to be displayed in a prominent place at each site every day that we're doing our service. It must contain the non-discrimination statement, and it must be in outdoor sites. Outdoor sites can place the poster on the distribution table or somewhere where it's visible. So maybe like a pole or something. So we'll figure that out. We'll be the ones bringing the Injustice for All poster, and we'll probably have it laminated just in case it like rains or anything. So we'll worry about that. But if we're ever like rushing or anything, and you guys don't see it, feel free to like come let me know. Like, hey, you guys have the Injustice for All poster. Just if we do forget about it, but usually we're pretty good about having it. We've never forgotten it or anything. Civil rights and non-discrimination complaints. this institution is an equal opportunity provider. We have to have that statement on anything that we give out, so like any flyers, paper materials, anything that we create, it must be displayed for, this program. So anything having to do with information about this program, must have that on there.
Does it go in the boxes?
It goes on the menu that we give out, so we give out menu instructions, so it'll be on there, which we will print out and provide for you guys. So we have non-compliance areas. We have collection and use of data, effective public notification systems, complaint procedures, compliance reviews, resolution of non-compliance, requirements of reasonable accommodation of persons with disabilities, requirements for language assistance, conflict resolution, and customer service. So compliance is the collection and use of data. We'll be collecting ethnicity, which is, Hispanic or Latino, or non-Hispanic or Latino, and then race, which includes all of these.
You can give out that, like, the written stuff that goes in the boxes in Spanish and English.
Yes, yeah, I've translated it, so I made sure, it's there for them. Note, a person can only have one ethnicity, but they may identify with more than one race. So on our Google sheet and our registration form, we have the option where they can select multiple.
I never seen any Hawaiian
So compliance, effective public notification systems. The purpose is to make the program, have like the program available to people. Program rights and responsibilities, the policy of non-discrimination, and procedure for filing a complaint. So if there's ever anything that happens, somebody can come to us and we have to file that. Regardless of whatever was going on, we just have to file it. So, if there's these are our complaint procedures. If anything happens, contact your sponsor, so that would either be me, Anna, or Amy, whoever's there at the time, and I will notify Amy as well. Notify them immediately if you're faced with a written or verbal complaint alleging discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. It's not your job to determine if the complaint is legitimate, but your job is just to report it to the office. We are not the judge of whatever is going on, so we will give that complaint to somebody else and they will be the ones to decide. Requirements for reasonable accommodation of persons with disabilities. This ensures access to services by persons with disability by providing program accessibility, so phone, mail, or any other form of communication. You're providing easy access to the building and effective communication with staff. So if there's anybody that speaks Spanish, you guys can direct them to me. I will be happy to help if I am here on site, I will try to be. But if not, we are also working on hiring more people, so that speak more than just one language. So if it's ever need, we will try and send someone down here as well.
Do we have a person here that translates, like that does Spanish and English? Okay,
Carol Hazel's used to.
I just didn't know, so just thought I would ask, cause I go knocking on their door.
So the other two people that could possibly be here, can they speak Spanish or no?
I'm technically the only one that's fluent on my team, but Anna, she can manage a conversation.
I could do some really rough translating.
Yeah,
Couldn't speak back to them at all, but I could understand maybe what they were saying to me.
yeah. Anna has some knowledge and can speak Spanish a little bit. It can be limited, but she can do like enough to understand what they need. She was able to do that.
That works pretty good too,
Yeah.
with translating, and I used to have to use that when I worked at the food pantry where I used to live.
Yeah, we have, I know Anna has resorted to that at times.
A lot of times I find that people bring their kids too.
Yeah.
Like if they
Also,
don't, if
yeah.
they don't speak English, they'll bring their children with them and then their children will do the translating.
Yes.
We can see what the Pope's doing on Fridays, you know.
He speaks 5 languages.
requirements for language assistance. LEP persons are individuals who do not speak English as their primary language and who have limited ability to read, speak, write, or understand English. What language will most of your participants speak?
Probably English. I don't know around here. But I don't know in this part of the county.
It's English.
I would say,
It's a lot of Vietnamese.
I would-
Shiloh would have
And
more,
Thai.
Shiloh would have more,
maybe the St. Bolivia too, probably a lot more Hispanic,
yeah.
like Spanish speakers. I don't know.
What would you do when someone wants to participate in your SFSP program who speaks another language? So,
We turn and look at you.
Get out Google
Yeah.
Translate.
yeah, if I'm not here for, depending on where my boss sends me, I would say definitely try using Google Translate. If you
Have it
can.
on my phone.
If Anna's here, she'll probably be able to help out. She has been able to help out in the past whenever I haven't been there. And she's pretty good for what she knows, so. And if we're able to hire someone who does know Spanish or any other languages, we'll also probably send that person here if it's not me.
If we see there's a high need, we can always communicate that to you guys, I'm assuming as well, and be like, hey, we really need some extra help with Spanish speakers.
Okay, customer service, we wanna display professionalism, listening skills, availability, responsiveness, and reliability. With this, we just need to be able to like hear the people out, see what it is that they need. Sometimes they will over-explain their situation, which is completely fine. Just reassure them that whatever they're going through, they're still able to do the box. They don't have to justify their need if, that is what if that's what they think they need to do. Just be kind and like listen to them, make yourselves available to them for whatever they may need. If they do ask about any other resources, feel free to give them any other resources that you may know about. And just make sure to be responsive to them. For our summary, all SFSP staff and volunteers must abide by the civil rights statutes, regulations, policies that we have discussed. And we're gonna watch a video really quickly.
Drinking cold water to help me lose weight. My friends laughed at me, but when they saw how fast I was changing, they started doing it themselves.
No person in the United States shall,
on the ground of race, color,
or national origin,
be excluded from participation in,
be denied, or be subjected to discrimination
under any program or activity
receiving
given
federal
by
financial
this
assistance.
system.
Hello, I'm Jim Banks. Decades have passed since the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial here in Washington, D.C. But discrimination is still a problem in these United States. And discrimination prohibited by Title VI can be among the most difficult, yet important to recognize and understand. It means that all people in this country are entitled to equal treatment by federally funded programs or services, be they police, parks and recreation, education, healthcare, transportation, or anything else. If services like these receive federal financial assistance and the people operating the programs withhold their benefits from people or treat certain people differently because of race, color, or national origin, discrimination prohibited by Title VI may be involved. It was President Lyndon Johnson who signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. At the time, many people called it the most important piece of civil rights legislation since the Emancipation Proclamation outlawed slavery about 100 years earlier. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 aimed to end discrimination based on race, color, or national origin. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act specifically focuses on programs and activities that receive federal financial assistance, often in the form of grants. The money can go from the federal government to state governments or departments to local governments or departments. It can also go from the federal government directly to state governments or departments, or from the federal government directly to local governments. Sometimes federal aid goes to programs that are non-governmental entities, like corporations or nonprofit groups, either directly from the federal government or through state or local governments. These non-governmental entities will then be covered by Title VI, as will the state or local government entities.
The second one would be.
It's not just money that qualifies as federal assistance. It can also be the provision of valuable services, training, commodities, and land, and personal or real donated property. Some 30 federal agencies provide federal financial assistance. All the operations of the department that receives the aid must comply with Title VI, not just the branch using the assistance. For example, if a state's Department of Corrections uses money to improve one particular prison, the entire Department of Corrections must be in compliance with Title VI, not just the one prison. The goal of Title VI is voluntary compliance, and recipients must be given opportunities to voluntarily comply when violations are found. But if that cannot be achieved, federal financial assistance may be withdrawn. And the top priority is preventing discrimination in the first place.
Alright. I don't wanna have you guys watch the whole video. Alright, do you guys have any questions?
Can anybody work this program without having gone through this training?
I do not believe so. If they watch the recording, they can.
Yeah.
And do we have a sheet that we need to sign our initials on today?
Yeah, I got it emailed to me. I didn't have, my boss didn't give me a copy of it, so I did have it.
How do we print it from her computer?
If you can send it to me and send it to Pastor Carrie at southportpresbyterian.org, I can go and print it out right now.
Perfect.
Okay, this is just, our non-discrimination disclosure statement, so you guys don't have to really read it. Alright. Thank you guys for coming and going through this training with me. I'll get that signed up for you guys.
Yeah, just tell me when you send it and I'll go print it for everybody.
And then we'll sign, and then you guys are free to go.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was late to the party signing up on Sign Up Genius, and it populated my name under May 30th. Were those random dates, or have we signed up for dates yet, or?
That's weird that it just populated your name under May 30th.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it was supposed to be a date that you chose and signed up for.
It
Can
might
you do
have
May
been the only
30th?
date left, I don't know.
Now all the spots are full, so it might be the only date left, but somebody might be willing to swap with you
It's
if
a-
May 30th.
Or, like you say, can't we just add people so that we